Welcome to the podcast, Susie.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
So do you want to start off with who you are and, what's your role in the business?
Okay, I'm Susie. I'm the head of design for Next Home and Beauty. I've been here 15 years.
Nice.
Can't believe it. Unbelievable. And I suppose my job is I look after the design team for Next Home and Beauty, and really to help them research, help them to really inspire our customers to product they need, product they want, a product they would never have crossed their minds that they want or need that in their lives. It's to really develop great, amazing product that our customers want to buy.
And what sort of scale are we talking at in terms of your team in design? Because for Next Home and Beauty, you mentioned there as well. I'll come back to that. What sort of scale are we talking at?
We're a big team. There's 33 designers in Next Home, and that's across textiles, hard goods, furniture, and across home fragrance and beauty as well. So it's one of the biggest teams in the country at our level of the market.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Like it's something that quite unique to Next as well then, is it? Yeah.
Well, I think it shows how Next really value the importance of design, within the business.
And that is a big focus, isn't it? Especially at the moment for us in terms of that quality of design and product.
Yeah. 100%. And the lengths that we go to recruit the best people, the best designers. We've got designers who are working all across the country now because we've done that to make sure we've got the highest calibre of designers. And I know we've got the highest calibre of designers because I've literally interviewed everyone in the country. It's a big team, so we do have movement from time to time. So, and we're always looking out for great people. And that's how I know we've got the best designers in the country.
Yeah, because you mentioned there as well. You've been here 15 years, so. Have you always been in this role?
Yeah,
or
pretty much. The team has grown, in the time I've been at Next. But I've pretty much been doing a version of this role, which it's kind of evolved as we've grown as a business. The team, as I said, the team has grown in size. But within that, I've also seen the opportunity for designers to progress their careers and have an amazing career at Next. An example is the guy in my team. He started as a junior designer, literally the same time I started. And he's now a senior designer, like running the furniture team. He's worked on every category: bathroom, kitchen, hard goods, you name it. And he's now running a category in a smaller business he would be ahead of, But he's got a team of kind of 5 or 6 people now, and that's his role. So it's an amazing place to come and actually build your career.
And you mentioned as well there around how there's different areas of design within home as well. It's not like you're just a home designer, is it? It's a lot more varied than that.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, as you said, it's very varied. We have. We're kind of roughly split into 3 businesses, so textiles, hard goods, and furniture. So the textile designers are kind of product textile designers. So they're designing bed linen, they're designing bathroom towels, they're designing curtains, cushions. And so they are generating pattern and motif themselves, but we also have a dedicated print team who are just designing print and pattern to support the rest of the business. In hard goods, we have product designers who've studied product design. They might be designing, dinnerware with ceramic glazes. They may be using pattern that's been generated by the print team as well to put onto dinnerware or kitchen product, bathroom product. And furniture, they're product designers as well, but they've been, they're designing, every type of cabinet, sideboards, coffee tables, TV units, shelving, wardrobes, you name it. So, and we've also got 2 kind of graphic designers in the team who are working on home fragrance and beauty, and I have a trend specialist as well who's researching kind of, the big seasonal colour trends, kind of macro trends, and kind of I work with her in terms of developing the stories that we're kind of delivering throughout the year for the business.
And when we talk design, in particular home, because am I right in assuming it's quite different from fashion? Yeah, very different.
It's not to say the skills can't be transferable, because I started my career in clothing. In different retailers. I was a textile designer and then I transitioned. But homeware product, it's, you're not designing a blouse or a jacket or a pair of trousers. It's, it can be 3D hard product like these kind of next glasses. Or it can be, a duvet cover, a bed linen. So it is quite different.
And when you're designing, it's not like you say there, those glasses or a table or anything like that. It's everything you're designing, isn't it? It's not just like, what texture we put on top. talk me through what you design.
Yeah, I mean, if it was, say, for example, some glassware, we'll take into consideration, the weight of the glass, the ice weight at the bottom, the way it feels in the hand, the thickness of the rim, how it feels when you drink from it, and then there's obviously the aesthetic of it, how it physically looks, but it's the technical aspect as well as the aesthetic aspect, and those things have to really work together to have a product that looks gorgeous but also works and is functional in your home, and that's something we're kind of. It's kind of almost intuitive to us.
Is it hard to get that intuition to get that balance between functional yet, a really desirable product?
I think it's a skill that we learn. We obviously work really closely with our colleagues in technology who support that as well, and we learn from each other in terms of that. So it's a process that it's a learning process.
Yeah. And where's your inspiration for all of this come from? Because doing something for 15 years, you've got to enjoy it, right?
Oh yeah, I love what I do.
Do you?
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here after 15 years if I didn't absolutely love it. And it's so varied.
Right.
Like it's so varied. Like every day, one morning I might be in a meeting and we're looking at, glassware, cutlery, dinnerware. And then the next meeting I might be looking at cabinet furniture or beds or toilet roll holders or the sculptural dogs and the funny kind of animals that we do as well. So it's so varied, and I really love that about it. Get the opportunity to really look for inspiration absolutely everywhere.
Right.
Travel is a really big part of what we do as well. We're always going to the key trade fairs, and for every discipline, we're going to inspirational countries and shops and stores for inspiration. We're looking at movies. We're looking at what's happening at the coolest restaurants and bars that are opening, what's going on there, but also looking at kind of really mainstream trends, what our customers are, how they're living kind of now as well, and what they're watching on television or on the biggest shows on Netflix or whatever. So it's literally looking for inspiration from everywhere, and that's what keeps it really kind of fresh and exciting.
Yeah, and what sort of balance have you got to get, a bit like between the functional and design, what sort of balance have you got to get between, say, something that people want now, but something as well people may not know they yet want? How do you do that?
It's a really interesting question, and I think there's a lot to it. I mean, first and foremost, from a design point of view, we're looking at the highest aspirational brands. As I say, we're travelling to trade fairs looking for the big trends. We're looking category specific at what's kind of really trending for each category, but we're also working with our merchandise colleagues who are analysing sales, numbers. The designers go to the trade meetings every week. They understand what's selling, what's not selling, what's going into markdown, so they've always got that kind of intrinsic knowledge. The buying, working with our buying colleagues as well in terms of kind of coming together and kind of thinking about the aesthetic, but with the commerciality as well. And again, as I said before, it's a learning process. It's like kind of not just kind of coming up with blue sky, oh, this is beautiful things. There's a reason to do it, or we talk a lot about customer style definition. We've got a very broad customer style spectrum at Next, from extremely glamorous to country to Scandi and global. And we're constantly thinking about what are the gaps for every product range in those customer styles. And we've got a lot of information that we've created to define what that style is. So the designers have got those tools to equip them with as well. So
you're using a lot of data there and a lot of, and you're really collaborative as well. I guess that's one thing I know before we started recording and when we were chatting before, you mentioned that design's part of the whole process. It's not just, can you design this for me, is it? Yeah,
I've worked at other retailers before where, design are important, but they're treated more as a kind of service.
Yeah.
But actually design is really, really fundamental to what we do here at Next. It's a really, really important part. We're treated equally with buying, merchandising, technology, certainly from what we do in home. And, we're part of creating that strategy. We're not just waiting to be told what to design. And that's our accountability as well. It's part of our archy, which is great. And it doesn't mean to say that ideas come from other places as well or from buying, merchandising, whoever. But, really at design, it's about where are we driving, product development, from the onset.
And that must, for you and also for your teams, that must be quite empowering as well then, because you've got that seat at the table, so to speak. Yeah. It's not, you are influencing it, and if you are creating something from scratch, which I guess happens a lot.
Yeah. We design a lot of the vast majority of the newness is designed in-house. We
Wow.
don't buy loads off shelf. We might find a shape from a supplier that we like, but we'll probably tweak the texture or the colour. But to be honest, a lot of what we do is designed in-house, and that's how we stay ahead, of the market. And we're looked at by inspiration for a lot of our cheaper kind of competitors, but we're genuinely believe in innovation and designing from scratch to have something new, something fresh, something different that no one's kind of really thought about.
And why home product in particular for you? Like, what's that? Like, where's that come from? Why? Because I think you mentioned just then that you started in fashion, right? But you've moved over to home and then been there. What's made that stick?
I just love it.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with interiors, literally
Really?
obsessed. I'll be in a restaurant with friends and I'll be turning the plates over to look where it's from. I'll be taking pictures of, oh, look at that, that's amazing. Or I'll be on holiday or something and I'm, oh, look at that amazing boutique. I'm going in there to have a look and buying things to take home with me. All of that colour, of that glaze or whatever. And my friends are like, oh, what are you doing? But I'm literally obsessed with it. I just absolutely love it. And there's so much to be excited about.
I guess do you not really see it as like, I guess you don't see it as like a 9 to 5 then, really, do you?
Not at all.
You're just totally
It's
invested
very
in
hard to
it.
turn it off.
Yeah. But I guess that's, if it's kind of like something that it's driven within you and a passion, then I guess that spills out into your teams and the products and stuff. And what's because your role now is obviously the design manager, do you still design or?
I'm not physically designing.
Yeah.
I would love to. I think my technical skills are probably not there anymore with all the new kind of stuff that's going on. But I'm really heavily involved in the process, supporting, guiding, mentoring, coaching. In terms of developing the trends and everything, I work really closely with our trend kind of specialist. And I'm kind of constantly seeing product, talking to designers, encouraging them to really push the boundaries, stretch what they're looking at, to be curious, be creative, to step back and think, is this good enough? Is it right? Is it right for the customer? You kind of challenge them in lots of different ways.
And what are some of the trends at the moment that you're really excited about then on home? What are they? Like, what are you really excited about at the moment?
I was really obsessed with neutral, and neutral and the whole Scandi thing is amazing, and that is doing really well for us. But really, the return of colour. We're seeing a really big return to colour, and we've got some really exciting, fun stuff coming. From quite sophisticated, kind of rich colours to really quite fun pop, kind of really modern looking stuff. So it's really exciting.
So as your taste palette kind of just shift. Does it always shift around then every now and then? Yeah.
Sometimes it's a gut thing. I was literally having a conversation yesterday with someone about chrome, and we've seen a shift towards gold metals across all hard goods substrates, and a real move away from kind of chrome and kind of more glamorous things. But suddenly starting to see chrome again, and I feel it in my gut. I'm like, I'm really liking this in a very different guise to how we've done it before. So we're getting on that right now.
Right, and how, and is that, and when you say you see it, is that through what the trends are showing and that
what we've seen at trade
buying?
fairs, what we've seen new brand launches, even new bars or restaurants, the way they're styling or the furniture or the kind of product mix they've got in them as well.
Oh, so it's so interesting, and in terms of Next Home then overall, What's the scale of that as well? Because it's not a small part of the business, is it?
No, it's big. I can't remember whether we're second or third biggest in the business, but it's really significant, and it's grown massively even since I've been part of Next Home. I couldn't tell you the numbers off the top of my head.
That's fine. That's fine. But is it in and what areas? Is it mainly? Are people mainly buying furniture, or are they mainly what are the standout areas that?
I'd honestly say it's across the piece.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're a bit of a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
We have almost every category that you could have in a home that we cover, and we have really comprehensive offers across every customer style. Whether you want a bath mat and some towels and some objects for the bathroom, or whether you want really serious cabinet furniture or a new sofa or an accent chair, or really highly decorative kitchen product, or wall art, or are really kind of cute kind of animals. And Hamish the Highland cow, which who knew you might want a Highland cow phone holder, but suddenly you bought it. It's in your basket, and you bought it.
Popular. And what area do you really love, like on a personal level, not just next? Like what's something that you're like you always find yourself gravitating to?
That's a really interesting question, because I said before, I'm obsessed with homeware, and I might say, oh, I'm obsessed with like beautiful like sideboard, but I'm also obsessed with like cutlery, with kitchen ceramics, but with beautiful bed linen, with like amazing kind of rugs. Like my home is just like it's just full of stuff.
Right, full
like
of home items.
And people come to my house, oh, that's nice, oh, that's from such and such and such and such, and that's from such. It's like I'm obsessed with everything in home.
Really?
Yeah.
Just everything. You can't even just pick one category.
No,
No,
it's really
or
hard.
one item.
But the things that I like, I love upholstery fabric, but I also love kitchen textiles. Obsessed with tea towels.
Yeah, I don't know many people that are obsessed with tea towels. I mean, how do you get obsessed with tea towels though?
Oh, well, obviously I'm a textile designer, so it's that like the fabric, the detail. It might have a beautiful branding on it. I bought some ones from a beautiful brand recently that are like over dyed. So it's a traditional tea towel that's over dyed. It's just really nerdy stuff.
Yeah, but that's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really good, and I guess that's what allowed you to carry on doing this role for all these many years as well.
And it's I always say to designers, younger designers and more experienced designers, about being curious.
Okay.
That's the most important thing for me, is like being really, really curious about everything, about understanding your supply base, understanding their capabilities, understanding your category and the lifestyle of the customer in that category, all the different customer styles, being obsessed and curious about detail, about finesse, about elevating, about the kind of mark that we're creating. Obviously we use computers really, really heavily, but I'm still a really big believer in, drawing and painting by hand and creating by hand. You getting that brush mark that, you could kind of create digitally, and that is getting more sophisticated, but it's the authenticity of that mark.
Right.
It's kind of, and knowing that.
And we do a lot of that still.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got some beautiful chinoiserie bed linen, that we've done over the years, and we've got more coming that's all drawn and painted by hand. It's exquisite, really, really beautiful.
By in-house, by our teams? Wow.
Yeah, by our print team.
Wow.
Sometimes we'll buy artwork as well from external people or commission things, but we've got an amazing in-house print team.
And I guess that's, you're never going to get that. You never replicate that again, because even if that person did it again, it wouldn't quite be the same, would it?
Yeah, or we'd do it in a different guise.
Yeah.
And then we use all the digital, stuff to, change the colour or, make it print ready. But that origination, the authenticity of the mark making, everything is there.
And I can see, because I can see from my point of view, I can definitely see how designing like fabrics and prints and stuff, that in my head that's design. But then when you start talking about hard goods or how do you design furniture, like, because that's got a lot to it, right?
Yeah, but it's a really similar process. They'll start sketching, or even on the computer, the dimensions of the leg. We're sitting at tables. These are next tables.
Yeah.
The dimension of the leg, the thickness of the top, the type of veneer or foil or wood that we're doing. The research into the kind of colorations of wood that are coming through. This is obviously very blonde, but we're looking at much richer, darker tones. And so they'll start like sketching ideas, then taking it into CAD. Actually, our process starts more with like mood boards and like creating like the vision for what we want to go after.
What's the vision? Is that like...
The vision is like it's really setting the scene for a category for the season.
Okay.
This is everything we think we should be doing, what the designer thinks they should be doing. That's presented to management and the rest of the teams. And then buying, merchandising and technology come together with design to then create the product direction for the season. Looking at sales history, analysing the market, and all the technical stuff as well, and bring it together with that design vision to really setting the scene for the season.
So design are really kicking all that off then when you're looking, when we're like, right, let's look at a new season, new collections, it all does start there with design then.
Yeah, and it's kind of on what's the word, influenced by by, it's not, you're not being told, oh, this season we need a 15 centimetre, 20 pound cream jug. I know I'm exaggerating, but it's kind of, without kind of being kind of constrained. And then, the merchandisers, the buyers, the technologists come together with design to really put into action from that what we want to do.
Because I guess when you start with that mood board, you want it to be as aspirational as possible, don't you?
Yeah.
And then if you have to home that in and give it more direction, you can do that.
Yeah.
But that's so interesting. And so then if you are designing a table, so you're literally looking at, like you've already said, everything, and even different colorations of wood and...
we talk, part of that vision presentation will be like what type of colours of wood are coming through, whether it's solid wood, whether it's carved, whether it's foil, whether it's veneer. And we'll talk about the hardware, which is like the handles, all the metalwork, whether it's a pitted finish or a chromed, a kind of chrome or a metallic finish. There's like trend information on each of those aspects on, whether things are going chunkier or finer, or which countries is Scandinavia a big influence. We've obviously gone through a very big influence from Scandinavia in terms of furniture, and probably being influenced more from other places now. But it's still is really interesting. And that when they're, in terms of, they take all that into the design, in terms of, when they're designing, say it's a sideboard, if you want to reflect that kind of Scandinavian influence, has it got a turned leg? Has it got really attention to detail, soft curves, the kind of blonde wood, the kind of grain of the wood as well? To all those kind of aspects are really considered when they're actually technically designing those pieces of furniture.
I definitely say the Scandi is definitely, on a personal level, is something I gravitate to. I think it is
it's a huge influence.
It's huge. It's massive. And is that, and with Scandi, like, excuse my ignorance, but that does start over you're going over to Scandinavian countries and looking at stuff
for a lot
like
of
that.
years we've been tracking that, and we would go to Copenhagen, to Stockholm, and actually really looking at the brands. We're seeing those big brands at the trade fairs as well, and looking also at kind of historic kind of Scandinavian stuff as well, like Danish furniture's got a huge history of huge history of design credibility.
Yeah.
So we're looking not only at the modern stuff but at vintage stuff as well.
Yeah. And is it just, like you said, it's not, you go to those trade shows, which I guess is great, because I guess you get to travel loads as well.
Oh,
then. Yeah. Like,
we're very fortunate at Next, where, we give the designers, we give everyone the tools they need to do their jobs properly, and travel is a big part of that. Inspiration, it's very hard to sit at your desk and find inspiration, even with the breadth of the internet. I think you can't beat getting out and about. And as I said, it's not just looking at brands, it's looking at like kind of spaces, bars, hotels, restaurants, what's going on there, because there's some really inspirational interior designers working on those projects, interior architects. So each designer will go to the key trade fairs for their category. We'll do amazing kind of trips as well. I'm planning quite a big trip at the end of the month, with the bedding designer. We're going somewhere very exciting. Which I can't talk about, but we're very excited about it. So we'll mix it up, not just go to the obvious places. Try and literally look for inspiration everywhere.
I guess that's the thing. That's where I was kind of thinking and wanted to ask next was, if you just keep going to the same place, could you kind of fall into a kind of consistency pattern or the same sort of thing? I guess you every now and then got to go, right, we do need to make, and I guess that's why it's important, isn't it, to travel? Because I guess some people listening could be like, why do you need to go and travel? Like you said, get your inspiration from the internet. But
I know, but it's not just the travel is about seeing stuff, but it's about interacting with your colleagues on a different level as well, because you have time to really talk and like look at things together, debate things, like feel things, touch things, rather than just seeing it on screen. Feel the weight of the glass, the ceramics, feel the texture of things, which sounds really simple, but it does make a huge difference, and it's that kind of to add that extra specialness to elevate things.
But I guess if that's what the customer's doing, you should be doing that as well. Like the customer's not going to be looking at this glass on a screen or those knives they're going to be picking them up and feeling them and feeling how they cut food and stuff. So you've got to do that to get best design, right? Yeah. And you mentioned the people there. Is how important is it having such a? I mean, it's great having a big team, but also people that love design like you do. Is that an important part, and is that something that's kind of grown more as your roles progressed as well? Or
I think I've always really tried to get I call them designers who live in the world of design, who find it hard to turn it off. It's like intrinsic to what they do. They're literally obsessed with it. Obviously, it's really important for people to have hobbies and everything outside of work and get that work-life balance. But it's like, I would say the vast majority of my team are designers. They're like obsessed with what they do, obsessed with the product, the jobs, and the detail, and absolutely live and breathe it.
And that's really good. And then in terms of the wider team as well, what's your kind of who do you work with a lot? Is it, you've mentioned they're the buyers and everything, but on your level, are you working with buying managers and those kind of people?
Yeah, I'm working really closely with buying managers and merch managers as well. Obviously, we're in product meetings all the time, looking at product, which is great. And I travel with buying managers as well. We went to America several times last year, different parts of America, with the furniture team. I've travelled with the textile team as well. So really closely, obviously working really closely with our director, Claire Solis, as well. Yeah, but I'm travelling with my own team too. I've got a senior team who, as I said, look after the 3 different business categories. So I'm travelling with them, working with them really closely.
God, you've got a lot to do then, because of all the different teams as well just in Next Home. How many is there?
Well, there's 33 in my team.
So there's 33 in your team, and how many different, so you've got like kitchens and...
I think there's 16 product categories.
16 product categories.
I think. Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
But then you're kind of, I know you've got the people that will look after certain categories, but then you're kind of involved in it all as well. That's a lot to... Yeah,
but I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And I think that's what keeps it fresh, is that it's so varied.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're moving from one thing to the next, but there's also such a relationship between different categories.
Such as?
Well, if we see something we really like in, say, kitchen, or proposing something, think, oh my God, that pattern will make an amazing bed. Or, and we'll make sure we're talking to the bedding category. Or if there's a 3D something that we think, well, that might translate quite well in wall art. So we're always kind of cross-fertilising in terms of ideas. In design, we share all the time. We have a weekly design meeting. People are sharing the stuff they've talked about in their recent meetings, any new artworks, so that we're maximising kind of opportunities across the business.
So I guess, do you just do that within Home, or do you do that wider as well? Or?
Mostly in Home, but we do collaborate with our colleagues across the road. If there's great prints that are trading really well, Claire will bring that back from trade meeting, and we might that could be really interesting for us. But even before that, my print team are talking to the print teams in women's wear and menswear, so that especially in when we come to seasonal product, developing new Christmas motifs.
Yes.
It's what are we saying across the business, and kind of utilising that kind of resource everywhere.
Yeah, I guess at Christmas, if there's something we're quite passionate about as a collective, that we think that's what the customer's going to like, it makes sense to do it.
And believe it or not, there are trends that involve what's the narrative around Santa this year. I know it's hard to believe, but we have endless conversations about, is his beard fluffy enough? Is his nose too red? And is it a more nostalgic feel, or is it a more kind of modern, fun pop kind of Christmas? So endless conversations about how
there must be some bizarre conversations in design then.
Yeah.
You ever walk out and think that was very odd?
Yeah, we sometimes have lots of laughs about things we're talking about. We're like, really, this is our job?
And if you, I know you've already touched on it, but if you were going to kind of say to anyone that was either, in Next, just started, or going to come to Next, what advice would you give to them?
That's a good question. Be curious. I said that before. Be curious. Be open. Be prepared to work hard, because we do work hard. But be excited about the opportunity, because there are huge opportunities at Next, and certainly within design. And I've seen countless people work through the ranks because they've worked hard. They're passionate. They deliver great results, great product. And, they progress through their career, have a very varied career as well, moving from around categories, travelling the world, having really rich kind of careers at Next. And just be open and excited about it.
Yeah, and that's quite common, isn't it, to move around different teams as well. And I guess that's that's recommended or something we put into place so people can get that experience. Is
yeah,
that right?
and it certainly grows people as individuals. You get fresh eyes on a category, but it also helps develop and grow designers' experience.
So it's like a win-win.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, it's been lovely having you on.
It's been really nice to talk to you.
No, thank you for talking through design. I can absolutely see all the passion coming through. I know we spoke about this, but if we ever do move or ever want to revamp, we'll definitely get you in to revamp the podcast set.
We're up for
We'd
that.
love it. We'd love it because it's something, we definitely want to reflect that. So we'll hopefully see your design flair over this set soon.
Yeah,
All
cool.
right. Thanks, Susie.
Okay, thanks, Matt.